this digital age?
You know, Jackie, privacy isn't a technology issue, it's a policy issue. Security is how you enforce like privacy things. So what happens is when people download apps, when you get these subscriptions, these agreements are written by lawyers and they tend to be very complex. So you have to read through, but when you read through it, a lot of people should people in this day and age be surprised Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook are collecting information on you? No, because when you agree to use the service, you agree to that. So in that agreement, and I know people talk about privacy, but in that agreement it says, here's what we do with it, here's what we collect, and one of the reasons they collect, even without a subscription, they still will collect information for training purposes, to train their AI, to train their model, to train their algorithms, analytics. So there is this portion of it that's always being captured. That was one of the issues with voice-activated assistants like Alexa and Siri, is listening to that buffer. Where does it go? What do you do with it? So one thing with privacy, it's not a technology, it's enforced by technology, but privacy is one of those things, but most people aren't lawyers and they aren't going to read a 50-page document.
Yeah, or realize when they download an app, they're agreeing to all of the terms, basically. You know, during Super Bowl, Amazon ran a commercial for its Ring doorbell cameras. It was meant to tell this heartwarming story about a lost dog being reunited with his family, but it ended up creeping out a lot of people. Here is that ad.
Pets are family, but every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party.
Huge backlash followed that ad. You had Ring severing ties with the firm Flock Safety, which deploys its cameras for license plate readers with law enforcement. Back in October, they had announced they would be powering this new feature called Community Requests, which lets people submit their doorbell camera video to law enforcement for investigations. But a lot of folks didn't realize that this had apparently already been used or launched in some way or another. Does this reaction, the public reaction to that ad and the knowledge that this was, in the works, tell you that most people don't realize the extent of their digital footprint or how they're consenting to it being used?
Yeah, Jackie, in the last couple of days, I've been working with a team of analysts. We're getting ad tech data, which is the mobile data off the phones. And I always have to preface this by saying, let me be very clear, what we collect is lawful. It's in the agreement. We're allowed to use this. I think part of that messaging, you got to realize that in a commercial, they're trying to get a point across, but I don't want to turn these things into pharmaceutical ads where you've got 30 seconds of disclaimer and only 5 seconds about the product. But that's really one of the problems. They didn't set the expectation is that this is how we do it. Most of this stuff is opt-in. In other words, unless you opt in or if you don't read the user agreement that says this is how we do it, then that's the way they collect the video. But a lot of this stuff, like looking for the dogs and stuff, very noble and stuff. But I think they had to make sure people say, this is what we do with your stuff up front. Oh, we only use it when you turn it on. We only use it when you say we can use it. That would have gone a long way to tamping down some of this. But what happens is, when you don't say that, people then, a narrative gets out there, just like in the Guthrie case, the narrative gets out there, pretty soon the narrative becomes that's the way it is, as opposed to what the facts are. The facts are, it's in the agreement, they say they can do it, but in reality, most people like to say, I'm not a lawyer, I read some of this stuff, and sometimes I have to put it in a Grok or ChatGPT. It says, give me the too long didn't read version, what does this mean? Am I giving away any privacy rights?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure, and in this case has generated really the only lead in this case, so you can certainly see how it can be helpful, but also kind of make people wonder about what their cameras are doing without their knowledge. All right, Morgan Wright, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
You bet, Jackie.
As the path for the SAVE Act is unclear in the Senate, Kayla McGee-White will weigh in on that coming up next.
I thought every day to get out from around the leg of the Yellowstone. I'm trying to find a new beginning. Case, people Martians.
This will be fun.
They look like God's country to you. But the devil's running. We're gonna live here. We're gonna live here.